Thursday, 4th of August 2022. In this Skidmark I want to talk about the Green Deal. I have done one previous Skidmark on what happened to Ghana, and I got a few comments, and since then I've taken a look at what is happening on social media and what does the people say about this Green Deal. Now, obviously, it is a hell of a topic and it can't be handled in a Skidmark of 20-25 minutes, but I'm going to try. And I will be showing a lot of snippets. Some of them I will read through the whole snippet and so forth. You can stop and pause the video and look at those things. But more important is when I use the snippets from social media, I do include the poster's detail on that graphic, so you can go and check his here or her Twitter accounts or whatever, where I get these things from. But the fact of the matter is that the energy crisis in the EU has highlighted this issue about the Green Deal. And it seems to me that that Green Deal has now been turned a dark color of yellow to red. That thing is turning into compost. The first one is this one. What's really annoying is that overseas in Europe, they implemented all this green energy only to discover that it cannot maintain the power grid as it's too erratic. Now going back to coal, so what the fuck do our lot think they're doing? And this is a very, very valid statement that this person makes, and we know what happened there. What is interesting is that when Putin spoke about the energy crisis at the SPIEF conference in St. Petersburg, he clearly stated that renewables do have a place, but it's got a long way to go. The problem is, point one, it's expensive, point two, it's not reliable, and point three, it cannot provide the quantity that is needed. But as usual, why listen when Putin speaks? And then this from Guerrilla Media. The German government shut down perfectly functioning nuclear reactors for no good reason and now face an emergency energy. Listen to climate alarmist at your own peril. And what he says is true. And then this, actually, nuclear doesn't create as much pollution as coal by a huge margin. No idea why Germany went this way. The environment argument is moot. And I agree. And this person says, it's about one thing only. Those who called for it in government were funded by those who bought stocks in green energy. Welcome to the world of billionaire economic criminals. €500 billion of German taxpayer money later, and they have an energy crisis. 500 billion. It is absolutely amazing that in 2022, the public is so gullible that they believe everything this elitist politician and political race, I'm going to call them a political race, because that is what they have become. Whatever they feed, the public takes it. And then this person talks about the farce around the so-called Green Deal as far as environmentally friendly things are going. The WEF acknowledged the transition it seeks from fossil fuels to renewables will require environmentally corrosive, heavy mining across the global south, promotes circular economy, prioritizing sharing of cars, phones, laptops instead of owning them. And that must make you think, because this is what this WEF is planning for us. They want to control everything. Your life, your energy, your house, your car, everything. You will own nothing and be happy, as they say. I say, fuck you. And then this one here, I have spoken about it previously. Bill Gates and AOC says that a cow emits more pollution than a car. How about I spend the night in a garage with a cow and they spend the night in a garage with a running car? Then we can meet up in the next morning to discuss it. True. And then there's this one, and this is quite disturbing. The cult is so damn stupid people. Why allow them to lead us by the nose? Surely everyone can see this now. All we have to do is say no and they are done. And that was based on this statement. John McCook said, there are 6 million cattle in Ireland. Brazil plans to increase its national herd by 24 million cattle by 2030. Every cow we cull will be replaced by foreign Brazil, and we'll end up importing that meat. That is all, every last bit of it, nonsense. And this is what the Europeans must look out for. That political race is planning to starve you guys. And on top of that, they're going to feed you insects. That's what they do. And they're going to feed you stuff that was manufactured in factories and colored and flavored and poisoned. And that is what you will eat. Because they know if they control the food, they can control you. And then this is this interesting. World re-entering the coal age. Global coal could reach 8 billion tons in 2022, matching a historic high set in 2013 and further growing in 2023, the International Energy Agency said. Based on current economic and market trends, global coal consumption is forecast to rise by 0.7% in 2022 to 8 billion tons, assuming the Chinese economy recovers as expected in the second half of the year, the report states. According to the agency, demand is being driven up by rising natural gas prices, forcing many countries to increasingly switch from gas to coal and reopen previously closed coal-fired power plant. And this is the reality, and I spoke about it in a previous Skidmark. The West built their industries and wealth on coal energy. And when they got wealthy, they improved their energy sources. But now they don't want the rest of the world to grow their own economies in the same way. And then there's this one, it could actually have been a what the fuck. Yummy! Bug burgers are hitting the shelves in Germany, featuring high protein and low saturated fat levels. Although they have slightly high sodium, they are the perfect food to fill your tummy during your next family cookout. They are not vegan, but they are tender and juicy. And what the hell is that? An insect burger. Guys, humanity is lost. And then there's someone that posted this in response to this thing about the bug burgers. Insects contain chitin, which cannot be processed by our gut. But chitin is a polysaccharide which is very tasty to cancer parasites, fungi, and pretty much all that give you sickness. Chitin is a building part of them. Also, they contain metamorphic steroids, especially ecdysterone. This is not a food for mammals. Only birds can process insects' food in safe conditions. Birds' digestion apparatus is completely different as ours. And that is something to think about. And now I'm coming to a few posts on nuclear power. Myth. We don't have a solution to nuclear's waste problem. Reality. Nuclear waste isn't a problem. In fact, it's the best solution we have to meeting our energy needs while protecting the natural environment. Here's what you need to know. After nuclear fuel has spent about 5 years in a reactor making energy, it is placed into a pool of water to cool off for another 5 years. And there's a photograph of the storage pool at Palo Verde nuclear generating station. And then she continues, the best part, when the fuel rods are done in the reactor, over 90% of the potential energy from the uranium is still left in them. That means we can recycle the spent fuel and turn it into new fuel, which is already routinely done in Europe, Russia and Japan. In summary, nuclear waste is solid, not glowing green goo. It's tiny compared to waste from all other energy technologies, is easily contained, has a perfect safety record. Nuclear waste does have a problem, however. Let's start with the uniquely dangerous. The main concern associated with spent nuclear radioactivity diminishes with time. About 40 years after it's done making power, the heat and radioactivity of the fuel bundle will have fallen by over 99%, and then there's a graph. Most of the industrial waste we manage never gets less toxic over time. Not in a million years, not even in a billion. Mercury, lead, cadmium, arsenic, etc. all are dangerous and remain so forever. In rich countries, this waste is gathered up and stored without fanfare. Rather than being honest and explaining that 1, radiation does not make nuclear waste uniquely dangerous, and 2, dry cask storage at this plant is safe, cheap, and has a flawless record. The industry has attempted to offer technical solutions to what is a political problem. Yucca Mountain is an anti-scientific dumpster fire eating up public wealth. It would save 0 lives, protect against 0 injuries, and avoid 0 cancer, and give the false impression that nuclear waste is the most dangerous waste. $15 billion flushed for no benefit. And I would suggest that you can see in the graphics, there is a Twitter handle, and so she's written a hell of a long article about this. I only pulled out some highlights. But after reading her stuff, a lot of things changed perspective for me. And there's a big story about how dangerous nuclear is, and then the people will always bring up one of the nuclear disasters that happened. Those disasters happened many, many years ago. The technology has developed tremendously. And in Russia and in China, they are now also, they are decentralizing the nuclear plants. Instead of building one massive plant, they are building smaller plants. Just think for yourself, how many nuclear-powered submarines is on the Earth? How many nuclear warships is on the Earth? And those things, they carry on. A nuclear aircraft carrier, it's got 6,000 people on top of it. It's time to rethink this bullshit that the political race is feeding us about nuclear. And now we come to some questions that people are asking the greenies. Electric cars, the biggest scam the world has ever seen. Has anyone ever thought about this? If all cars were electric and if we're stuck in a 3-hour traffic jam in a cold of a blizzard, the batteries would completely die. And then there's a picture of it. And we know it happens. This happens. You get stuck in blizzards. Then this one. How are electric cars green when the power they is generated by coal, a fossil fuel? Coal-powered electric cars. Helping liberals pretend they are solving a make-believe crisis. That is the truth. And then there's this one from Superb. £80 fee to use diesel generator powered green electric charging points at Glastonbury. It's a damn joke. And then this picture. It was to pay for the clear up operation. Look at that. Look at that waste at that festival. And here's something to make you smile. Go green and need a diesel generator to charge your car. These electric cars are the joke of the world. And on that note, I'm going to stop this green story. All I want you to do, look at the things, listen, and then think for yourself. Just think for yourself. It is time that we break out of this habit of allowing the political race to feed us bullshit, and we just swallow, or we line up and hold our arms and take the shots. That must stop, or we as a human race are bound to perish. Thank you. Please subscribe and like and share and all that jazz. I need the support. Have a nice day. Have a nice green day. That's not green from the energy, but in South Africa the weather is warming up, and soon we will see new growth and new leaves and new grass, which will make our country green again.